Hey guys, so today I'm doing a finally what I eat in a day video, and this has been so requested literally like since I started my channel, and I've finally done it. I finally feel like I have like a nice space to film it in and a day where I could just sit down and film it, because it's quite a lot. There's a lot of cooking in there. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like make my somewhat ideal day of food. Everything is vegetarian but can easily be made vegan, or if you eat meat you can easily add meat to any of the stuff. I also wanted to say that this is not like a eat this and you'll look like this sort of guideline at all. It is just to show you what I tend to eat in a typical day when I'm cooking for myself all day. Sometimes I do like eat like this all day. Sometimes I end up ordering food off the internet, but you know how it is. So now that that is all said, let us start with the video. So typically what I like to do in the morning is just stick on some music. I'm a huge fan of Lana. And then I will grab a lemon and light a candle, because I wouldn't be a real YouTuber if I did not light a candle. And this candle is absolutely amazing. I love it. It's like the perfect bakery caramelly scent. I will link it in the description below. It is so good. I'm just gonna grab a glass now and fill that up with water. So I'm just going to cut this lemon and roll it out because it's super hard. I'm pretty sure it was not ready to be used whatsoever, and I'm having a really hard time squeezing it. I had to like really get in there to get the juice out of this guy. But I just like to drink that to sort of cleanse my system in the morning. Also, it forces me to drink water because I tend to forget to drink water a lot of the times. So I'm just going to grab everything that I need for my breakfast. I have zucchini, summer squash, onion, chickpeas, there's some butter over there, and I'm just going to cut this up. I almost always have caramelized onions. It's part of my meal prep, and I like to have it in my fridge at all times because I use it for absolutely everything. But I am just going to cut this up and show you sort of how I caramelize onions, and this is the start of dropping everything in this video. So there's that. I'm just dicing this, like large dice. Grab my pan out. I have something in my hair. What is that? I think it's a flower maybe, but this is just one of those like green pans. I got it off Amazon, and I'm going to stick a nice big pat of butter in there. I'm like having trouble turning my stove on. What am I doing? And I'm also going to stick some olive oil in there as well, get that action going. Put my onions in, spilling onions there as well, if any of you noticed that. I tend to use my hands a lot in the pan when I'm cooking, which is stupid. I totally washed my hands before I did this, don't worry, but onions always kill me. Just add a little salt and pepper into that dish. Stir it up, and then I'm just going to cover it and let it do its magic, basically. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut up my zucchini and my summer squash, and I just sort of slice this into quarters and then slice it again. And I do the same with the summer squash. I made like a little bit too much today. Normally I make a tiny bit less, but I was quite hungry this morning, so I made a good amount of veggies. And then my trick for the canned chickpeas is I like to make like a little hole on one side of the can, and then on the other half of the can I just like completely open it, and it helps you get the water out a lot easier. And then I fill it up with water just to sort of get any of the sludge at the bottom of that, stir it around, and just get that water out as well before I really open it up. So while the onions are cooking, I'm going to get my lovely Jeff Goldblum mug, and I'm going to make myself a coffee. I got this little teeny Nespresso maker and I'm obsessed with it. I absolutely love coffee and espresso, and it is like one of those little morning luxuries for me. I just absolutely love it, and I am waiting for my Nespresso machine to actually heat up. I'm like, oh god. Typically have that with some almond milk, and there is me just loving Jeff Goldblum. So my onions are mostly caramelized. I don't like to get them super dark, so I feel like this is like the good caramelization that I like. So I'm just gonna throw a little pat of butter back in the pan, get in my zucchini and summer squash, a little slap your mama, cover that, let them cook for a minute, then stick in my chickpeas and some of those onions, and I'm just going to sort of heat things up. I like everything to still have a little bit of crunch to it in the morning, so I'm not going to cook it for too long. and I'm just watching SNL right now. I think this is the one where Pete Davidson is like talking about his hair loss or something like that, but I found it absolutely hilarious. He's quite funny. And then after that is cooked, I am just going to stick it in a bowl and spill it all over the place. And then what I like to do is if it's nice enough out, I will sit out on my balcony and have my morning coffee and sometimes my breakfast out there, also spilling vegetables for the pigeons, of course, because what else would I do? And I just like to sort of utilize this balcony because it is so nice to have an outdoor space when you're living in the city. For a mid-morning snack, a lot of times what I like to do is have a piece of fruit and some sort of a protein. So I have some almonds, a clementine, and I have some water as well. And if I'm not doing anything else, I will just do some work on my computer while I eat that little snack, or I will bring it out with me if I'm out. I always like to have some sort of fruit or something in my purse just in case. Clementines are typically the easiest bet because I think that they're like the cleanest and least easy to bruise. Also, does anyone else see if they can like completely peel their orange in one go? Because I always do that and I feel so bad if I fail. For lunch, I'm gonna start by wilting some spinach. I just put some olive oil in there and I'm just gonna like stick the whole thing of spinach in there and let it wilt with the cover on. I'm gonna open up my avocado and just sort of dice it up a little bit, spilling it on the floor again every single time I cook something. Give those spinach a little stir, fog up my glasses, of course. Then I have some nice sun-dried tomatoes here. These are like a nice bite in any sort of a pasta dish. I'm just going to sort of slice those guys up. I don't eat these very often, but I do quite enjoy them. And I'm going to stick in some angel hair pasta into some boiling water that I had. I am so horrible at taking pasta out of the thing and just spilling it all over the place, really. I have some garlic here now, 3 cloves of it because you can never have enough garlic, and I'm just going to mince that up because garlic is amazing, let's be honest here. Can you tell I'm Italian? I'm going to take a little bit of that spinach out and save it for another time because I don't want to eat a whole pack of spinach. Just going to stick that garlic in there and let it cook for just a second before I add in my sun-dried tomatoes and just sort of like heat those up, let the oils in them warm up. Totally on the phone right now as well. And I'm going to stick some onions in there from earlier, those same caramelized onions, a little bit more slap your mama. It's just like a spice mix with a little bit of spice, salt and pepper and spice. It's quite good. Give it a little stir. And my pasta is ready, so I have a strainer in the sink. Don't worry, I'm not just sticking it in the sink because that's totally what it looks like. Little splash of olive oil, and I'm going to toss it and just stick that in my bowl. This smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this. I'm not even kidding. It smelled so good. And just stick that on top, add my avocado, and then I was not actually going to do this, but I could not resist some nice feta cheese. I'm really feeling the cheese, let's be honest. And just crumble that on the top there. This actually smells so good. So into this. Look at that. Oh. So I like to sit and sort of just eat this at my table. I like to have at least one of my meals at my table. That's typically lunch. You really get that nice creamy tang from the cheese and then the creaminess of the avocado with just a hint of acidity from the sun-dried tomatoes along with the onions and the pasta, and it just comes together as a very flavorful melody of delicious fall foods. I highly, highly recommend this one, guys. Oh yeah. Okay, but that was my reel for Food Network, like, just trying to live the dream, guys. And this is definitely how I actually eat pasta, just saying. Like, that's real life. For an afternoon snack, I will try to do, again, a fruit and a protein, like the carb protein sort of thing. I like pears, and Justin's almond butter is my absolute favorite almond butter. If you guys haven't had it, I highly recommend it. For dinner, I like to have something more fresh. So I'm cutting up vegetables for a salad. I have some cucumber. I have like a quarter of a bell pepper here that I'm just going to slice up into little chunks. Then I have some corn that I'm just going to take off the cob, and I didn't cook this or anything, it's just like raw corn, but that's the way that I like it. I like it either way. So this is surprisingly like the only thing that I did not spill all over the place. Then I have some microwave quinoa and a hard-boiled egg that I boiled earlier. I'm just going to slice that bad boy up. My trusty microwave quinoa, take that out of there. And then I just have some romaine lettuce, and I just like to tear it because it's easier than like putting it on the cutting board. To me, it doesn't taste any different, it's lettuce. And then I'm just going to stick my veggies on there, my corn, I have my cucumbers, my bell peppers. I'm going to stick that egg on there as well. And then I'm a huge believer in the power of sprouts, so I'm going to stick a nice fluff of that on there as well. Some alfalfa sprouts, my favorite. I'm going to just stick a little quinoa in the corner for a little carb, a little extra protein. I love quinoa. And I totally don't even use dressing, I just like it as is. Ooh la la. But that is not all. I have some whipping cream that I'm just going to stick in a little cup here. And I also have some vanilla extract, which I cannot open, so I'm going to do the hot water trick because that always works. Just a little splash in there. I have some raw unfiltered honey that I'm also going to stick in there. I'm going to use my hand blender because that's literally the easiest way to make whipped cream in my opinion, and just sort of let it do its thing, blend it up, basically make some nice creamy white stuff. I am such a whipped cream addict, I love it, it's so good. And then I have these freaking bourbon peaches that I got from a farmer's market in Union Square in New York, and they're just literally bourbon peaches. I don't know where you can find them online. I was going to use this with raspberries, but I had the peaches. I cannot open them. But I was like, I need to just eat these peaches right now because I am obsessed with peaches. So I'm just going to slice one of those bad boys up. I only show slicing one, but I totally used 2 halves, so like a whole peach. And then I already have some whipped cream in a bowl, and I'm just going to stick the peaches on top of the whipped cream and actually head over and eat my dinner. So typically what I do for dinner is, I wish I could say that I actually sat at my table for dinner, but I totally just sit on my couch, on my computer. If I'm by myself, I'll be watching Hulu or something along those lines, and spilling all over myself yet again. It's a constant theme here. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, become part of the family. It's always greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave me a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching.